Deadly Avenger 370. Hotel Whiskey one, you guessed it, 370. Then Tim Zoo from the wide draw at $4.40. Let's get on track now to Corey Smith. He's got Joshy Formosa and Smooth Plane.
Yeah, with Josh Formosa here with Smooth Plane. You look at his record from box one and it's probably not as good as him drawn off the track. Do you think that's more circumstance or do you think he's better off drawn wider?
Well, sometimes he can actually tend to just get a bit excited in there and miss it from the red. You sort of think, oh, he's home tonight, and plays up and does a few little things wrong. But if he can come out off the red, it's where he wants to be. So hopefully he can just get the start right.
All right, well, good luck there. I'll grab Anthony as a party. I'm intrigued to hear his thoughts. Hotel Whiskey 1, drawn in the middle of the track. That's arguably where he wants to be. He looks like the leader in this race. Can he improve that run home time from last week to really power through the line?
Well, I'm hoping so. You know, he usually comes home in that 12:20, you know, and that's him. And he's all out in front dog, and it's all mainly catch me if you can. That's the type of dog he is, you know.
Do you subscribe to the fact that the weather might play a bit of an impact on his chances tonight?
It is a bit of a worry. It is. It is what it is, isn't it? So, look, it's his third 500 now, like, through this prep. He'll run a good race. Don't worry about that.
Oh, well, good luck to you, Anthony. Hotel Whiskey 1 looks the leader in this race, but there's plenty of talent from 1 through to 8. I can't wait to see it.
This is an outstanding contest. Some superstars of the game at decent odds. You got Smooth Plane, Deadly Avenger, Hotel Whiskey 1, 370. Tim Zoo, $4.40. Nathan Rooney. Which of those 4 stars do you think wins this race?
I went 3, 1, 8 and 5. I went Deadly Avenger. I think he might be able to get behind Hotel Whiskey 1 in the early stages, and I think he will benefit greatly from his win here last week. 1 Smooth Plane must be included. 8 Tim Zoo. Group 1 Temley winner last start. Hotel Whiskey 1 in for 4th. He'll be the likely leader. Just might be getting a little bit tired late. 3, 1, 8 and 5. Semi-final number 3, the Australian Cup.
Semi-final number 3 of the Cup and the best contest of the night. Here's James.
Getting set now, runners are loading up. Coming in, the favourite last look, $3.70, Smooth Plane, joint with Deadly Avenger, and Hotel Whiskey 1 right behind them, $4. Semi-3 of the Oz Cup, the green light, set. And they're racing. Smooth Plane slow from the inside. Deadly Avenger went out fast. There's Hotel Whiskey 1 charging over. And Hotel Whiskey 1's going to take them out of the straight. Leading by a length and a half, Mapunga Scarlet. Right there, third, Deadly Avenger. A break then to Poor Kwan outside of Smooth Plane, who hugs the rail. And he's starting to finish quickly ahead of Tim Zoo. A breakaway to Fred Rose and Poor Calder. It's Hotel Whiskey 1 leading. There's no run. Smooth Plane comes to the inside. Deadly Avenger. And Tim Zoo's going to get them again. Wow, what a win. Tim Zoo from nowhere won it by a length to Deadly Avenger. Third, Smooth Plane, and Hotel Whiskey 1 just folding up the last 25 metres. Then Mapunga Scarlet from Fred Rose, Poor Coulter, and Poor Kwan at the end. He is a freak, Timmy Zoo.
Well, James Vandermaat says he's a freak, and it's hard not to agree with him after that run. He was back in the field, Holly. You're probably going to have to talk me through that because it's pretty much the same run as last week.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his new racing pattern from now, and he's out wide. And to be honest, I don't care how he does it. If he can get the win, I'm pretty happy.
There's plenty of knockers, or doubters is probably a better term for it, when he drew box 7 last week. He drew box 8 again, which again, we probably still didn't think was ideal, but he just keeps proving everyone wrong week after week, year after year now as well. He's going into another Australian Cup as the defending champ.
Yeah, he is, and last year we were very blessed. We had box 1, and this year I don't really care what box he's got, as he's in it, and I know wherever he is in the track, he'll try and find the win from anywhere.
He absolutely will. He's so full of class. He's so tough. He just has all the attributes that box 1. That's what you want, surely. Fingers and toes and everything across for that next week.
I think if you asked anyone that's in the race, they'll want box 1. And I mean, if I had to pick, I wouldn't actually know where I'd want him. If he doesn't have 1, I'd maybe 3 or 7. But I don't really want to have box 8 like next week, that's for sure.
Well, go give Derek a massive cuddle. Well done to Team Thompson. Tim Zoo, the reigning champ, is back to defend his crown next week, boys.
And there's Holly Thompson after the finishing burst of Tim Zoo, and the tilt for back-to-back is on. Nath, again, he was probably not in great contention turning for home, but that finishing burst in the last 30 metres is so cool to watch.
Yeah, he didn't get over to the fence like he most probably needed to be, or what run he got last week. He was forced worse in midfield. He was out wide, but then he was able to dissect his way through to mid-pack down the back, and then he was awfully strong late. I thought Smooth Plane was getting up the fence. I thought Deadly Avenger was the one that was close enough to peel to the outside of the tearaway leader, Hotel Whiskey 1, and then you called it, Patch. Here comes Tim Zoo, and with one foul swoop, he picked him up and spat him out, and 29 and 91. He backed up his Group 1 win last week off a wide draw, with most probably in Italy a better run this week. Last week he got a pretty clear run, even though he was mid-pack. This week he found interference. He was worse in midfield, and he was still able to pick him up in sub-30. If anybody deserves a box draw in a big race final, it'll be Tim Zoo. I'm glad to see him there. What a race, though. The four main targets and the 4 dogs we talked about pre-race were all within 3/4 of a length over the line. Hotel Whiskey 1, the tearaway leader, folded up late, 4.97 again, 17.58 up the back. Just tracks off the track and just not quite the back end of the 5.25 against these quality Group 1 dogs. Deadly Avenger was there. I think Smithy hit the nail on the head that Mapunga Scarlet could be a little bit of fly in the ointment, and it just got that spot before him at the post the first time, and then he had to work around. I still thought he was going to be too good in the run to the line, but then Tim Zoo really picked up the bit, so to speak. Smooth Plane was up the fence. He was
He was ready to strike, didn't he?
He was ready to strike it. That you didn't know where to look approaching the 500 boxes. You know, coming down the home straight, you didn't know to look up the fence, around the outside, and then down the deepest outside run was Tim Zoo. But we thought it would be a good race and a race for the ages, and it was certainly that.
Indeed it was, and Smithy, that finishing burst. I mean, it's impressive enough to do it in any race, whether it's a moderate city free-for-all or whatever it might be. He did it in a Group 1 Team Lee last week, and he's done it tonight again, running down some very good operators. Smooth Play, Deadly Avenger. He hooked wide, and that finishing burst, I mean, he's gotten stronger as his career has gone on. We know he's had some experimentation over 600 metres, but, geez, I haven't seen him hit the line like he is at the moment.
He's absolutely flying, and I'll be honest, watching the race live, did not watch Tim Zoo. I had absolutely no idea that he was coming until really, really late. And I'm glad Holly Thompson was keeping an eye on him because she was able to tell the story in that interview. But he's just a freak. He's absolutely flying at the moment. He won the Australian Cup last year. He was a reserve in the Team Lee last year. So he was flying at that time of year last year. He's had a little bit of time off. He's been good in big races since. And then he comes out and wins a Team Lee in that fashion and follows it up with basically a carbon copy. You could not ask for him to be in better form than he is right now.
No, he's the peak of his powers, isn't he? He really likes this time of year. That's where he seems to produce his best. And I tell you what, if he draws close with the dogs that we've seen qualify, he might be able to lob a lot closer than he has the last couple of weeks. And if he's able to do that, we know the finishing powers of him and what he's producing. And the rich vein of form he's in, that's 5 wins on the trot now over the last couple of months. He's been lightly raced, but he's just in the sweet spot. They've really got him singing on all chords, and he is a massive chance if he can draw somewhere where he's close enough to strike.
I think it doesn't matter what he draws. He's a live chance, isn't he, to go back-to-back Australian Cups. And correct me if I'm wrong, Smithy, it's just the one greyhound to do that, China Trips. So in any race, greyhound race, whether it's a country cup or whatever it might be, to go back-to-back is a huge achievement, given the short career spans that dogs usually have. But to do it in one of the biggest races of the year, that would be something.
And he was Jason Thompson's first Australian Cup winner last year. So the Thompson kennel is one of the more dominant kennels of all time, and they hadn't had that Australian Cup on the mantelpiece. He managed to add that last year, and I know how much it meant to the family. And for them to get not only Flying Zulu through, but now Tim Zoo through too, it's going to be one hell of a story and one hell of a race. You couldn't ask for a better race the way it's shaping up so far.
3 heats down and, 6 good quality performers. And they've all got different racing patterns as well. We haven't seen... Usually, you know, in these group races, you see high speed Phoenixes, you know, Temleys last week, they just held a skirt of what's going to get to the top and what's going to run along. We've got the likes of Zipping Hopkins, who's going to be at the back, Tim Zoo, midfield to back half, you know, and then you're going to have the speed factors of, you know, Deadly Avenger, who you take you know, Hotel Whiskey won out of that race. He's lobbying outside of the leader and then most probably gets a pretty clear uninterrupted run and most probably runs quick enough that Tim Zoo can't pick him up. So even though he's ran second and he has qualified, I think the other runners that have qualified through the first 3 semis gives me confidence that Deadly Avenger could be a major player because I think he can get right on speed next week, especially if he draws well.
It's a great race shaping up, and we've got 2 more to advance to the final in the 4th and final semi of the night. We'll take a quick break and hone in to the possible outcome of that semi-final.